What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Julissa Barnes celebrating 1 year of my book, Sometimes I'm Sad. So I actually am doing this for the second time because I was supposed to go live when I was live on Instagram and it didn't happen. Anyway, to celebrate my 1 year anniversary of my book, I wanted to do a live reading. So I'm going to do that for you guys today. Just a little bit of background about how this book came to be. Those of you who have followed me for a while, or if you know me for a while, you know that I worked as a school psychologist in the New York City Department of Education. I saw a lot of kids who struggled with their social and emotional development. And unfortunately, in a school system like that, there's not really a niche or a dedicated space for those kids in school. And so I saw a lot of kids who grew up in an impoverished neighborhood. My first school was in a very, very poor area. So most of the kids lived in transitional housing, meaning shelters. They didn't have permanent homes. There was always a lot of things going on with them. And a lot of their issues stemmed from just lifing super hard for them and them not having the necessary tools and skills to cope. And so often I would find that my hands were tied when it came to making decisions in terms of special education because they didn't often fit a profile set by the school for the school to support them. You know, if they had a medical issue, they'd go to the doctor, get a prescription, get some glasses. If they had an actual learning issue, then there were supports in school set up for them. But if they had something like anxiety or depression and it was so severe that they were unable to do their work, there wasn't much that the school could do at their level. And then during the pandemic, I ran into a lot of kids who struggled with just being sad and not being able to function. They were struggling with online learning. They might be acting out more. They might be more angry. And so I saw a spike in kids who exhibited depressive and sad symptoms. And so I incorporate bibliotherapy into my practice, particularly with kids, because a lot of the time when kids have big emotions and big things going on with them, they don't always know how to articulate or tell you how they feel about things or what's going on with them. And so it helps when they can see a character in a book who is going through something that they're going through or experiencing the emotions that they're experiencing, and they find it much easier. I find that they find it much easier to open up. So I'm looking and looking and looking for a book about depression to support children who might have depression. So I wanted a book that was written in a child's voice that a child could understand. And I couldn't find much. I think I found one book. There's a lot of books about anxiety. There's a lot of books about just the emotion of being sad as a passing feeling. So when I'm sad, I do this. But there wasn't really anything that spoke to a child who really just struggled and couldn't deal. And so that's where the idea for Sometimes I'm Sad came up. It took me maybe an hour and a half to actually write the story itself, the first draft of the story. I tested it on a few people, particularly a really cool 13-year-old at the time who read it and said that it literally fit their life experience. And that's how Carrie was born. Found a publisher, shout out to 105 Publishing. And here we are with a book, and now it's been a year. Okay, so as a present to those who have not had a chance to get the book themselves or read the book themselves, I decided that I'm going to do a live reading. Okay, so let me just adjust myself here. Okay. Since we're not on Instagram anymore. Okay, here we go. Sometimes I'm sad. Hi, my name is Carrie. I am 9 years old. I live with my mom, dad, big sister, Jeanette, and my little brother, Troy. My brother, sister, and I get along most of the time. Sometimes they can be really annoying. Leah and Nani are my best friends. We're always hanging out. I playing video games, going on trips, and hanging out with my friends. I really like my life, usually, except for when I'm sad. Lately, I've been sad a lot, really sad, and mad, and just plain tired. None of the things that were fun before are fun anymore. I try to have fun, but I can't. Sometimes I don't have enough energy, and all I want to do is sleep. But even though I sleep a lot, I'm still tired. Sometimes I don't want to play or talk because I get mad really fast. Sometimes I'm too sad to do anything but sit in my room. I don't know why I'm sad, I just am. Leah and Nani don't like me anymore. They say that I'm mean to them and that I hurt their feelings. I'm not trying to be mean, that's just the way my words come out. My brother, sister, and I fight a lot. We don't have fun like we used to. This morning, Jeanette fussed at me for not cleaning my side of our room, but she's not my boss. She always thinks she can tell me what to do. My mom and dad yell at me for fighting at home and getting bad grades in school. School is really hard now, and no one there understands me. My teacher, Mr. Dawson, says that I'm not doing my best. I'm really trying to do better, but it's not working. Mom and dad agree with Mr. Dawson and say that I have to keep trying. I try as hard as I can, but they don't believe me. Mom and dad don't treat my brother and sister this way. Maybe they don't like me either. Nobody likes me. Maybe I shouldn't even exist. Last month, Miss Cortina asked me to walk with her to her office. We played with blocks and looked at pictures. She asked me different things about my thoughts and feelings. Her questions made me think that she might understand me. That made me feel a little better. Nothing at school changed right away. I was still really sad and lonely. Everything was boring. Nobody sat with me at lunch, and even if they did, it was probably because a teacher made them. I knew nobody at school liked me, not even my own brother. At home, I was always on punishment. Mom and dad said it was for not doing my homework and having a bad attitude, but I didn't care. I just wanted them to leave me alone. Then my parents took me to meet Dr. Lynn. She's a psychologist. Mom and dad said I needed someone to talk to. Dr. Lynn was really nice. She told me that she would help me learn how to feel better. We played games, drew pictures, and read stories. Talking to her was okay, but I was still sad and tired. I was starting to think that things would never get better. Now I see Dr. Lynn every week. At first, I didn't like talking about my sadness. Sometimes I wouldn't talk at all, but Dr. Lynn was nice and patient. She let me draw instead of talking, and she helped me organize my thoughts. Sometimes our talks were hard and uncomfortable, but Dr. Lynn taught me that exercises to help my mind and body relax. Talking was easier after that. I learned a lot of things about myself since then. I learned that when Troy messes up my stuff, I can take 2 deep breaths and count to 10 before I react. It helps my mind and body calm down. I don't yell at him as much as I used to, and he almost always helps me clean up. I learned that I can talk about my feelings calmly instead of holding them in. I told my mom that I feel bad when Jeanette bosses me around, and she helped us make a schedule to clean our room. Now we don't fight as much anymore. I learned that my bad thoughts are not always true, but they can be powerful. Dr. Lynn said that when I tell myself that nobody likes me, my thoughts turn into sad, angry feelings. Then my feelings can become mean words and actions. The truth is, a lot of people like me, but my actions tell them that I don't like them. Now that I know better, I can tell those bad thoughts to back off. I remind myself of all the people who love me and all the things that I like about myself. I learned that I can tell people about my sadness and sometimes they can help me. My mom and dad had a meeting with Mr. Dawson, Miss Cortina, and other grown-ups at school. Now I go to lunch group with 3 other kids, and Miss Cortina helps us learn how to calm down when we are upset and to ask for help when we need it. Sometimes we practice together. Mr. Dawson asks me how I'm feeling every morning, and I tell him whether I'm sad or not. If I feel sad, he lets me put a happy reminder on my desk and work quietly by myself. Sometimes he gives me more time than the other kids to finish my work. He says he's proud of me for trying because he knows that learning is hard when I'm sad. I even made up with Leah and Noni. I told them about my sadness and that I thought they didn't like me anymore. They were shocked and they thought I didn't like them. Now we're friends again, and I'm so glad I told them. They sit with me at lunch, even on my sad days. When I feel better, we do all the things we used to do. My name is Carrie, and I just turned 10. I live with my mom and dad, my sister Jeanette, and my brother Troy, and our new dog, Bailey. She got a dog. My 2 best friends are still Noni and Leah. I still have days when I feel too sad and don't want to do anything. But I know now that I have tools and people that I trust to help me, and the sadness doesn't last as long. The best part is that my sadness doesn't control me anymore. I know that my bad thoughts aren't always true, and now I can choose which ones I will listen to. You can choose too. And so if you purchase the book, so that's the story. That sometimes I'm sad. If you purchase the book, you can see in the back, Carrie actually wrote a letter to kids who are dealing with sadness that she might be dealing with, that she was dealing with. And then there's a nice letter to the adults who may be working with kids in this situation as well. And I made sure to add some tips and suggestions for people who maybe want to get more help and support for their kids. So this was my present to everybody who has supported, who has bought the book, shared the book, talked about it, left a review. I so appreciate all of the support. I actually use it in practice. I'm sitting in my office right now and I have a copy on my bookshelf. And the kids that I have read the book with all have responded very positively to it. It really resonated with them and it really helped them to see that they weren't alone, which was ultimately my goal, to make sure that everybody knows that you are not alone in whatever your situation is. So Sometimes I'm Sad can be found on Amazon.com. You can get it a paperback copy or you can get a ebook. You can get an ebook format. If you would like a hardcover or if you would like an autographed copy, make sure to send me a private message and I will make sure to get that out to you. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Take care. Bye.